Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for making time out of your busy weekend to attend the mini press conference for Zoe, our candidate for next year's Miss Universe. I'd like to reintroduce myself. I'm 𝐏𝐇𝐈𝐋𝐈𝐿. I'm the grandson of Miss 𝐔𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐒 associated with the Philippines. Again, thank you. Kicking off our program, I'd like to introduce the president of the Pearl Collection, LLC, Nate Kalima.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Gabe, for doing that. We really appreciate the pageant media for coming out here today. It's absolutely an honor for you to take time out of your busy day to be here. And not only that, much of this has been sponsored by Zoe. It's absolutely incredible to see everyone coming out to have the time to be here. And something a little bit I wanted to say about Zoe is that she really went through the process. I have never seen a candidate that has gone through this process that's worked so hard. Ever since the beginning, she's strived to become the better version of herself every single week. And that's why we're so proud to have this mini press con today and introduce you for the first time, but not the last time. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Zoe Gabon, Miss Universe Philippines Virginia 2025.
For coming today, and I know it's been a bit busy, but I really appreciate everybody, and hopefully this event would be able to help you guys understand me and get to know me more. Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, of course.
So at this moment, we want to jump right into it. We're opening up the floor for any questions from the media. We'll give it some time. Any questions about our actual organization, let's hold off until after we've asked questions from Ms. Zoe Gabon. Thank you, everyone. Who would like to go first?
The Crown Philippines.
We have the Crown here.
Yeah.
Crown Philippines.
And then go for sunod na.
Go Mars.
Go Mars.
Yeah. Hi, Zoe. Welcome. It's nice to see you, and we're so excited to witness your journey in Miss Universe. So we just want to know, of course, many people ask, what was your motivation to sign up for competing in Miss Universe Virginia, and eventually holding your journey in Miss Universe Philippines?
Well, originally I was only supposed to volunteer for the event, but people around me said that I should join because it's such a interesting and a unique experience. So through the trust of the people around me, I was able to gain confidence and finally join the Miss Universe Philippines Virginia pageant.
What was your family's reaction, of course, after they knew that you signed up for the competition?
Well, my mom has always been a frustrated beauty queen, so it's a dream of hers to have somebody like me or her in pageant stage. But the most supportive one was my husband. He was the first one I asked actually if I should join or not. But he said that I just need to believe in myself, and he would support me in every step of the way.
For my last question, because last year's edition was a bloodbath, and everyone, of course, expects it to always be like that here in the Philippines, Miss Universe Philippines specifically. So, anything or any segment of the competition that you look forward to, despite, of course, the kind of expectations for all of the delegates, especially for you?
Well, one segment is definitely going through different provinces. I would love to travel the Philippines more, and given the chance, that would be the best immersion experience for me, especially as a Filipino American here in the Philippines.
Thank you. So many questions, so nice. Hey Zoe, first and foremost, congratulations. I am 𝐷𝐿. I would like to ask, of course, we would like to know you more. Can you please give at least maybe 5 fun facts about you?
So I am 24 years old. I am married, and I am a U.S. Navy veteran. So I used to serve in the U.S. Navy, and I currently just got discharged. I am a mental health advocate, as I am through going the same struggles as well. And lastly, I am a child of a domestic violence survivor.
I understand. And we would like to know more about your advocacy, of course.
So this stemmed from my mother because she is a domestic violence survivor herself. And growing up, seeing that as a child really impacted me in a way that could never leave me or my personality anymore. So I really turned to healing myself, to self-knowing journey, so that I am able to help other people and also advocate for the prevention and intervention of domestic violence all across the Philippines.
And also, we would like to know as well, do you live here in the Philippines or you are living in the US?
So currently I live in the US. I am based in California. But I did grow up in the Philippines for 19 years. I grew up in Naga City, Bicol. And I am a proud Bicolano and would love to uplift more Bicolano creatives as well.
So I assume you know how to speak in Filipino.
Yes, so I can speak Tagalog, Bicolano, and Bisaya.
Yes. Do you understand Magayon?
Yes. Magayon ka.
Thank you so much. That's how sweet of you. Thank you so much.
Question for the who would like to ask.
Wait lang. Hoy, wag mo ito si Zoe.
Sino ba?
Wag nang mag-mic na babasag yung voice.
Ang ganda. Let's try. Okay.
Zoe, congratulations for winning the Miss Universe Philippines Virginia 2024. Can you greet naman your kababayan in Bicol, in Bicolano dialect?
So, marhay na bangkis is Gabos. Ako po ay si Zoe Sofia Gabon. Nagtakula po ako sa Naga City. Nag-eskwela ko sa Universidad de Santa Isabel sa Camarines Sur National High School sa University of Nueva Cáceres. And hopefully, matabangan nindo ko sa journey ko for Miss Universe Philippines. And mahal na mahal ko kayo.
Diba?
Authentic.
Oh, yeah, authentic. Check.
Next question, Zoe. How's life after being crowned as Miss Universe Philippines Virginia?
So definitely a lot has changed. I have a lot more confidence in myself because throughout the journey of preparing for Miss Universe Philippines Virginia, I really found who I was supposed to be, and I'm currently still going through that journey. I also felt a lot more connected to the Filipino community in Virginia, and I'm proud to be able to represent them on a national stage.
Okay. You mentioned a while ago na you're a married woman. So, do you think being a married woman will be your edge in the competition for Miss Universe Philippines next year?
I definitely think so. Just because when you're married, when you're in a relationship, in a partnership, you learn how to cooperate more, learn how to compromise more, and being in a long distance and a long-term relationship, I definitely have that to offer to the competition, because the competition, you never know what to expect, so you always have to be flexible in every aspect of it.
Okay. Follow-up question. So, aside from your pretty face, one thing na ma-recognize or mapapansin ng tao agad is your tattoos.
Yeah.
So, can you share us about your tattoos? May meaning
story
ba
behind
yan?
it.
The story behind your tattoos.
So I've always wanted a garden, and I've tried to cultivate one back in my backyard, but they always died. So one way of me expressing my love for flowers and my love for greens is through art, and putting them on my body is, I feel like, is the most highest form of appreciation for something. So most of these are just flowers that I love. I do have a dog tattoo of my dog, Kikai, And then my cat, Luna, and she recently passed, but she's always remembered on my body. And I also have this one. This is an anime, because I love anime. This is Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. So I hope you guys would be, if anybody loves anime, you guys would be able to appreciate that as well.
Yeah, Gojo is the most powerful character in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi Zoe.
Hello.
It's my pleasure to finally meet you. Congratulations again on your win 2 months ago. Yes. So, you know, I'm coming up from Oyel's question about your tattoos. So, how could you, let's face it, we're a very conservative country. We have a very conservative society. How can you open the minds of a lot of pageant fans, or even the older ones, to look at it, to look at your tattoos like any typical accessory as part of your identity or personality?
I do feel like we've had great strides in accepting tattoos in pageantry. So we are on the way to accepting them. But I would love for people to think of them as art. Because when we see art, we admire them. We don't really admonish on what we see on the wall or on the canvas. So just think of our body. I mean, we always think of our body as a temple, right? So our skin can be a canvas to anything that we love, to anything that we admire, and to anything that inspires us as well.
That's great. That's great to hear. So, you mentioned earlier, you were born and raised here. So, I don't know if this was asked already, pero how were you able to get to the US if you were born and raised here? Just to complete the picture, just to complete your story, why you are representing the Filipino community of Virginia.
So my mother petitioned me back in 2019 to go to the United States. Originally, I am from California. That's my first step in the US. But because I was in the US Navy, I was stationed in Virginia. I was there for about 2 to 3 years. So I really connected with the community there. So that's why I'm representing them on Miss Universe Philippines 2025.
What led you to join the US Navy?
I have to be honest, it was 2021. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and I just didn't have anything to do. And I'm the type of person that I need to try things once in my life. So I said, why not just join the military? I think it'll be a great experience. And that's the same principle I'm having with joining Miss Universe Philippines.
I just want to get to know you better. So when you joined the Navy, so you were, I assume, out of job then.
Yes.
What was your previous job before joining the Navy?
I was actually an admin assistant for a plant nursery. Yeah, so it's like a plant nursery. So it's where you buy like the trees, the flowers and stuff. Yeah.
So you're a plantita.
Yes. In part only because I could never keep them alive.
So you don't have a green thumb.
Kaya nagpa-tattoo na lang siya.
Yes.
So since becoming part of the US Navy, what sort of skills or what life lessons have you learned from it that you are now hoping to bring to Miss Universe Philippines next year?
One of the biggest lessons is to embrace diversity. The US is a melting pot of different cultures and different people of all different walks of life. And being in the Navy, being at close proximity to those people has led me to learn to embrace diversity and to not let people's beliefs hinder me from knowing who they really are. And that is what I want to bring to the Miss Universe Philippines stage, because I know that we all come from different parts of the world or the universe, and I want to be able to understand these girls not only on a superficial level but also on a spiritual one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi Zoe, my name is Sherman. My question is, what do you do for fun?
Sorry?
What do you do for fun?
What do you do for fun?
I watch anime and I read manga. So that, I know that may make me a little bit of a nerd, but currently my favorite manga and anime is Chainsaw Man. So I'm currently watching them and just binging everything.
Okay, on a serious note, why should you be the next Miss Universe Philippines?
Ang naman. Can we reserve that later on? Too early?
That's our favorite question. Yes, always. Why should you be?
2, 3, go.
I'm not afraid to speak out, not only about social issues that we have in the current today, but also with my experiences with my past. I'm not ashamed of anything because I know if I share this to other people, they would also be inspired and they would have hope that there is a better tomorrow. I know that I came from humble beginnings and my mother is a domestic violence survivor. And I want to be able to show that on a national stage and inspire other women that you can be in a good situation as well. Because the Miss Universe Philippines, she is a figurehead of hope for all Filipino women across the universe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
It's a little early.
That's all.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Tinapos mo kasi agad.
Oo.
Adam.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
To do your introduction as
Yes.
Miss Universe Philippines Virginia.
Yes. Of course.
Your name, age, and then Virginia.
Oh, you guys want to go home na, ha?
She knows. 1, 3, go.
Zoe Sophia Gabon, 24, representing the Filipino community of Virginia!
Ganyan, energy. I love it.
Virginia! Ganon!
So we have a question going back to...
On a serious note?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hindi kasi di ba sabi mo, 2018 ka, pinetition 2019.
2019.
So I'm curious, ang cute lang kasi in just 5 years, I mean, ganyan na ba yung accent mo? This is just light lang Ganyan na talaga yung accent mo since arriving there? Or was it something that you just developed when you finally got there?
It's just something that I developed because I feel like I catch on to accents and languages pretty quickly because I learned Cebuano living in Cebu just 2 years because I moved to Cebu 2018. So I picked it up pretty quick and I can converse in Cebuano now. So that's how I got my accent because I lived in the US. But it wasn't like this before. I really had a strong Filipino accent, trust me.
Ganda accent mo? Lotion. Oh, di alam.
What?
Wala. Mamaya na lang.
So, matagal pa yung Miss Universe Philippines competition, 6 months from now.
And kanina nga sabi ni Crown Philippines, it's really gonna be a bardagulan and gonna be another season of bloodbath. How do you plan to stand out in the competition, especially coming from the bevy of beauties from the Filipino communities abroad? How do you plan to elbow your way to the top?
Elbow?
Kasi let's face it, the reason I asked this question, kasi parang feeling ko mas may lamang ang mga homegrown candidates here. Yeah, with their styling, with their techniques, with their know-how, vis-a-vis your training from abroad. So how do you plan to stand out in the competition knowing it's gonna be bloodbath fest again next year?
I feel like with any other profession, the way to actually excel in it is to actually enjoy the process of becoming. And my plan to stand out in the competition is to let everyone experience all the joy that I'm having, all of my authenticity and every single step of the competition. Because I feel like for all the viewers, if someone isn't having fun or someone is having a hard time in the competition, you can definitely feel that in their aura or the way they carry themselves. So that is something that I want to show to people. I'm having fun, I'm being me, and I'm being authentic.
So you have no qualms of showing your Filipino side?
No, not at all. Like, I am open to speaking out about it, and that is actually my plan. I want to uplift Bicolano designers and more Bicolano presence in the national stage.
Apart from that, which aspect of our Filipino culture are you most proud of?
The sense of community, the sense of bayanihan. Because even in the US, like, even we are away from the motherland, the essence of bayanihan never really escapes us. We always help each other in times of need, and it really makes me proud to be Filipino, even when I'm abroad or when I'm here. Because as I've learned, everybody is just ready to help you. You just have to ask.
That is so. All right, who wants to ask?
It's so true.
That is so true.
Oh my god, I love it.
I like all the answers.
To end the conversation.
Kasi gusto ko kapag kaya
No.
Tama mo sabihin
No.
ng pamera.
Magtanong ka pa, Adam.
Hi Zoe, Marina Balgi.
Ayong gabi.
I'm from Sorsogon, that's why.
Usap na kayo. Mag-usap kayo.
Mag-usap kayo ng ano.
Marina Balgi sa imo, Chloe. Zoe.
Ala, Charlene! Charlene!
Marina Balgi, Zoe.
Marina Balgi.
Okay, so I've got two questions for you. First question is, your tattoo, I think, is the biggest out of all the Miss Universe Philippines candidates that have competed before, and the most visible, I think. Do you think your tattoos would affect your chances on the Miss Universe Philippines contest?
I feel like with every other aspect, I feel it can, because we can't really rule out the possibility of it not affecting my chances for the main crown. But one thing that I would say is that I'm proud to have it out, but I'm also not afraid to cover it if needed, because both versions are still me, and I have no shame in representing both as well.
Okay, so for my second question. Hello. Okay. Miss Universe Philippines candidates that are coming from overseas Filipino communities are often scrutinized more of the Filipino pageant fans because they think you guys are not Filipino to represent the Philippines in Miss Universe. So how will you convince them that you are indeed Filipino enough?
Well, first of all, I would definitely share my experience of growing up here from 2000 to 2019. So I can that is one edge that I have, because I actually grew up here into adulthood. I know Filipino culture by heart, by mind, by soul. So that is one thing that people cannot bring out when I am on stage. I am Filipino enough, but regardless, nobody is not Filipino enough as long as they have the Filipino people and the Philippines in their hearts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
By the way, Zoe, who's training you for your candidacy here in Miss Universe Philippines?
For in what aspect?
Like in terms of pasarela, personality development.
So for now, for Pasarela, I have Jan Quijano. For Q&A, I have Mama Elmo and Mama Rog of VT Q&A. I think that's it for now. I'm still trying to grow my team here in the Philippines, and hopefully I will be able to find quality people to help me along with my journey.
So you're an independent candidate?
As of now, yes.
More? Kuya Juna.
Kuya Juna.
O ano?
Ako na. May tanong ako.
May tanong siya.
Alright, I'm back. You said earlier, let's talk about the authenticity. You said about the authenticity. Let's face the fact that for us, especially nowadays, for you to be able to get the crowd, you have to show the true self of you. How will you convince the pageant fans that this is me?
Well, first, apart from telling my story, I definitely want to highlight where I came from. I want to highlight Naga City. I want to talk to the people that I grew up with and show that on a national stage so that people would be able to see that I am me and this is who I am through other people's lenses. Thank you.
Who's next?
I think, ano na?
What's your first pageant?
Tanong.
Is Miss Universe Philippines Virginia your first pageant?
Yes, it is. My first ever pageant, yes.
How did you develop your love for pageantry? If you're coming from the Navy, who introduced you to the world of pageantry?
So, growing up here in the Philippines, I've always been introduced to pageantry. My favorite queen actually has been Venus Ra from Camarines Sur, so from the same place I'm from. I've always grown up watching Miss Universe on TV, so there wasn't any influence from the U.S. Navy to join pageantry. It's always been a love of mine, and I just had the confidence and the self-awareness, the self-assurance that I am able to join Miss Universe Philippines now.
Sir Nate, so how, since you're the national, you're the state director for Zoe, how do you, as early as now, how are you planning to package Zoe as a candidate for Miss Universe Philippines? Because let's face it, marami silang PhilAms na maglalaban-laban for next year for sure.
Something that you have to understand is that I've been a pageant fan since I was very young. The first time I watched Miss Universe was in 1994, and it really brought a lot of people together. So we don't just do pageantry just as a business. We do it because we love it. We do it because we love the sport, we love what it does for nationalism, and we love how we can express ourselves when it comes to this. What differentiates the Pearl Collective, MGF Miss Philippines, our organization, is that we started this process 7 months ago, 8 months ago. If you notice, we did the press con this early. And it was not just me, it was also because of Zoe Gabon. She wanted to reach out. She wanted to show that just because you come from the United States doesn't preclude you from being a Filipina. Doesn't preclude you from being a great person at Miss Universe Philippines. I know when it comes from the tattoos, isn't Miss Universe Philippines about progression? Doing something different? It wasn't long ago till Bea Luigi Gomez was saying, oh, she has tattoos. That was different. Now we have someone here who has a full sleeve, who's growing, who's reaching out to the pageant media, who's reaching out here in the Philippines, who has a pageant president who's willing to fly here every 2 months to network with all of you to make sure that we get the right way to do it. Because why? We don't want to offend you. We want to be a part of you. We want to bring the whole Filipino community from all the overseas, not just overseas, back to the Philippines. That is the movement that you see all over the world. We have sent our countrymen all over the world as a first and second generation, and now we're all moving back because we see where this is going. To answer your initial question, this is exactly what we want to do. This long process, this being a part of this process, is so we can also learn. We are learning from you. If we're making mistakes, we're welcome to admit it. If you want to criticize us, guess what? We will do better. And that reflection of our pageant is what makes us special. what makes us different, why we invest so much in our queens and invest in being here. This is why we're bringing so many talented. We're not just sending anybody here to the Philippines. We want to see their background. Are you passionate about the Philippines? Do you want the betterment of the Philippines? Do you really want to represent your country? Do you want to know the country that your parents are from, that they had to leave to make a living to come back here? I know I'm talking about philosophy a little bit, but you have to understand the philosophy of why this organization was born. It's not just to be the biggest Phil-Am pageant network. It's to empower everyone so that way future Filipino communities overseas, just starting here, our very first Miss Universe Philippines from the overseas communities can come here and see, don't you see how impressive she is? If you saw who she was when I first met her, unbelievable. The improvement, I want you to research where she was 7 months ago. You're gonna be shocked. She worked not only on the physical aspect, the mental aspect. Every week she was doing photo shoots. She was doing everything she could because she knew there was going to be a hurdle coming from the overseas Filipino communities. As you can see the passion in my voice, we don't just take this as a business or something simple. We take it seriously. Why? Because as an ambassador of the Philippines, as an ambassador of overseas communities, your voice can make a difference. This is why, regardless, I make no money doing this. I do this because I want to see people like Zoe, people like all the other candidates that we've sent here to the Philippines thrive. And as these candidates thrive, the Philippines thrives, and it'll all come back to us. So I hope that answered some of your question. I know it's more philosophical, but that way you can see the heart behind why this organization was born and why we are the fastest growing Filipino-American pageant organization overseas.
Okay, may winner na po tayo. Thank you so much.
In line with that, I want to ask, how did you discover Zoe? What is it in her that made you choose her to represent the state of Virginia for the MUP?
To go backwards, first, she was not an appointed candidate. She won.
She was proud.
And just to know the logistics behind it, actually the title is Miss Universe Philippines Virginia. The overseas communities, we cannot carry the name as a pageant Miss Universe Philippines. That, I know some have been doing that. That you're going to see a change in the next month. We are an independent pageant called the Pearl Collective and also MGF Miss Philippines. So you're going to start seeing changes in the overseas pageants and so on and so forth. When I first met Zoe, it was, just know my background, I'm from business. So I like to do calls every day. I'll call 8 hours a day. Let's find some sponsors. Let's go find new candidates. I even interview people for an hour to say, are you really ready for pageantry? Understand that it's not just one thing or another. It's a big deal when we do it. And so talking with Zoe, she just wanted to volunteer.
Volunteer?
For the pageant. She just wanted to volunteer.
Part of your staff or organization?
She just wanted to be there to help out, you know, tickets or bring people around. And you know, I don't know, I want to be very appropriate about this. She looked physically very different at the time. Very, very different. And I don't think that's a bad thing because it's an inspiration to show. Imagine all of us here. Did you imagine 6 months ago we'd be here? In the Philippines? With all of you here? Sash holders? Some of my best friends are here now. You're here now. And you know, it takes one person to change everything. In any organization, if you have a strong leader, that's what matters. Because you know why? It's about servant leadership. It takes one person to let someone else know, you know what, you can be better. You can improve. When other people are just looking at the aesthetic, or they're looking at something else, or they're looking at one thing or another, I saw Zoe and said, look, you have the personality, you have the drive, you're part of the US Navy, you got to this rank at a very fast pace. That means you have a desire, and that means you have a passion. So why don't you apply that passion to pageantry, and you can dominate. And guess what? When she did that, immediate transformation. In a month, I couldn't even recognize her. In 2 months, she was having a photo shoot every single week. In 3 months, she was flying to other states to do passerella training. That's the kind of caliber that I'm looking for. And as a pageant president, that's why I do 1 to 2 hour calls to see, is this really for you? And that's why we're bringing quality candidates. And starting with Zoe Gabon, that's why I truly believe she is right there for the crown.
Yeah.
Mag-volunteer din ako. I hope maiba yung path.
So, Zoe, how was the transformation for you in the whole time that you were in this self-journey?
Yeah, so I actually lost 55 pounds. So which is probably 27 kilograms, right? Along the process. But I've always wanted to transform myself. It's just that I didn't have a catalyst for me to be able to be motivated to actually go through with it. And because of this pageant, I was able to do it. And I was able to do it in a healthy way. I want to put that out there. And also with my public speaking, I am a very shy person originally, but because of the pageant and me training, I was able to hone myself and hone my communication skills as well.
How many years was the time? How many months was the time frame for this?
I would say November to July.
So that's...
Binila.
Like 9 months?
So yeah, July was your pageant there in Virginia.
Yes.
So what do you think the judges saw in, kasi let's say you're puro Filipinas, right? So what do you think, given your background, your transformation from zero to hero, what do you think made the judges take a second look at you and finally give you a crown?
I think they saw how I performed on stage and how much I really wanted to win, how much I really wanted the crown and be able to fight for the Miss Universe Philippines nationally. And me bringing that on stage, that vigor, that drive, touched the judges' hearts, and hopefully they chose me as a winner.
Yeah, especially when you talk about your parents, especially your mom.
Yes.
I think that makes you so Filipino enough for the title.
Absolutely.
Sa kabila ni.
Ayaw nung mic.
Ayaw.
Hello. Ayan, I'm back. You mentioned earlier that you wanna bring the local designers from Naga to the national stage. So, is it safe to say that we're gonna see some pieces from Naga to Miss Universe Philippines?
Hopefully I would be able to find amazing artists, and I'm not doubting that I will be able to. So I definitely want to try and find some. Well, actually, a fun fact: my Filipiniana for Miss Universe Philippines Virginia was created by a Bicolano designer called he's Jerome Villanueva, and he really made it inspired by Mama Mary.
Okay.
Mama Mary, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, hello, birthday, Mama Mary.
It's birthday.
Okay, so for my second question is, you're advocating for domestic violence. Meron ka ba mga projects that you're working on right now, and ano yung mga gusto mong mas malaman pa, diba?
So right now, I'm focusing on establishing a social media presence. Especially at this day and age, I feel like social media is a powerful tool to connect to people. But eventually, I would love to establish a domestic violence shelter for women and children, starting with Naga. Because growing up, when I saw my mother go through that, she didn't have the support from anybody. And I want to prevent that from happening to other women and children as well. And I want to know more on the statistics of people, especially in not so urban areas, because they have a harder time dealing with domestic violence than we do here in the cities. Thank you.
Light lang. Which part of the competition are you most excited about?
One of the things I'm excited about is visiting the different provinces as well.
The segments pala.
Segments.
Segments. Okay. I love the swimsuit. I feel like it brings out a lot of personality and a lot of sass on stage, and I want to you know, just have fun with it and just promote body positivity through it as well.
Zoe, I have a question. Sorry, ang dami kong tanong.
Okay.
kasi
Para kailangan nyo ng one-on-one charing. Go lang.
You're only one of the many girls that Sir Nate is training. So did you specifically choose to compete for MUP? Kasi I understand Ritz Washington State here is joined Mutya ng Pilipinas. So Sir Nate, how do you select the girls for which national competition she's joining? Like, do you have a deliberate careful, deliberate selection process in doing that?
Yes. The way that this works, the way that this works is very, very simple. Is that we actually have a parent-independent pageant, and so it depends on the region of where they're going to. But remember, we have a pretty long pageant process. And most pageants don't do that because why? It's a lot of money to do that. Let's be frank. This is why they don't train. This is why it's mostly a local pageant. They don't want to pay for licensing. They don't want to pay for a MUPH or ministers and universities. It's just a lot of money, especially with venues and sponsors disappearing. So what I do over those 9 months, I say, do you understand the rigors of 6 months being away from your family or being in the Philippines? Do you have the financial capacity? Do you have the drive? Do you have the emotion to do that? If not, you have a month if you really want to compete in the Philippines. Because sometimes, a lot of times, when the overseas franchises, a lot of people can buy a franchise, but you can't duplicate the heart. Does that make sense, everyone? You can buy a franchise, but you can't duplicate the heart. So when I talk to someone like, say, I realize that, hey, you know, for a month, that's something she can handle. It's something she can do. She can have the training for this period of time. And look, now she's the MUPH in Filipinas overseas communities. For someone like Zoe, who's a fighter, who can raise those kind of funds and sponsors and stay here for 6 months, who is raised here and knows the United States and Philippines, that makes sense for Miss Universe Philippines. You have to get to know your candidates and your delegates. Otherwise, you're sending them maybe even to fail. Because they'll come over here and say, Tito, why didn't you tell me I need to be a dual citizen? Why didn't you tell me it's going to cost this much money? Why didn't you tell me there's no hotel? Why didn't you tell me this or that? I want every queen to be well prepared before they get here, and that's what makes it different here. The whole process is to get to know them and basically put them where they'll be strongest. And you know, sometimes they want the Miss Universe Philippines, but I say, I'll be honest, I think you should start somewhere else where it's maybe 3 days long or a month long. Let's get your process going together until you get there. However, when we saw someone like Zoe through her process and she did win her competition, we said, you know what, she's ready for Miss Universe Philippines. That's how we do it.
Okay.
I have never happened that your visual and your girl's vision are far different from each other. Like she wants to, let's say, go to Mutya, but then you want her to go to MUP based on the profile that you've seen from her.
That's part of leadership. Part of leadership is sometimes it's not exactly what you want at that moment. And sometimes you need to start somewhere else. Or sometimes you need to build your skills. But to be able to have that conversation with people is extremely important because you don't want to fill people up with false expectations of how the organizations run. And plus, as we get to know pageant organizations, you know, it's different. Pageants can be depending on their leadership, it can be depending on their camps, their alliances, the biases. You know, these things are realities. The politics behind it. That's why I come here every 2 months, so I can meet with these organizations, so we can say, okay, I think this would be a good fit for this person. I know it's very tailor-made, it's hard, it's strenuous, people don't want to spend that time, but because we're pageant fans, that's why we do what we do, even if we don't make money doing it. Because it's important, because now look at the happy, smiling faces they have. They're going to make some great strides here in the Philippines.
How do you see yourself? How do you see your organization 5 years from now?
Our organization will be the most strongest Filipino-American pageantry event system ever. Why? It is not just about the franchise. It is about the heart. Are you willing to talk to a girl when she's being very emotional, saying, I don't know if this process is good for me? When they're on an emotional roller coaster, when they're trying to strive to be their best self. This is not just, one thing I want y'all to know. Every week we do self-development, personal development for free. Remember this process? When they're first starting, I say, look, no matter what, you're going to get something out of this pageant. You're going to be building yourself. And what we hope is that as they build leadership skills, They're going to come back and volunteer for the pageant. They're going to come back and build a legacy because people keep saying in the West that pageantry is dying. And I say no, pageantry is not dying. It simply needs reforms. Like in everything in life, from politics to where we are today, we need reforms. And because of those reforms, I am so confident that you will not only just see us, but you'll hear us. In fact, follow me at 𝐿𝐷𝐇𝐈𝐒𝐒. If you have a question, if you have a criticization, I want you to message me. You can at me. I'm not going to be one of those presidents who you can't talk to, who you can't criticize. I'm going to go face to face. Why? Because that's what strong leadership does. And that's why in the next 5 years, you're not just going to see 1 or 2 candidates. You're going to see some of the strongest candidates out there. And with your help, we'll be able to promote this all around the world. Thank you, everyone.
Sir, with your passion in the reforms that you have instituted, is there a chance that you might see yourself working for MUP or for Miss Universe organization in the long run?
You know, Adam, that's a great question. I really truly believe with collaboration, with being with great friends that are in pageantry, it is something that I have to talk over with my family. It is something that I would have to talk with the pageant community. And it's also something that we'd have to see that we can dedicate time to. Because at this point in my life, my #1 goal is making sure that Zoe Gabon has the best chance to win the crown in 2025.
Yeah!
So, dahil dyan, may follow-up question about sa crown. So, last edition of Miss Universe Philippines, so there are another crowns from the Miss Philippines, nilagay nila for MUPH. So if not Miss Universe Philippines, what other crown you're looking forward na maipanalo next year?
Honestly, I believe that as long as I'm wearing the Philippine sash and representing the Philippines abroad or internationally, I am fine with it. But I am married, so my choice of crowns is very limited. I think I am only eligible for 𝐒𝐿 International and Miss Universe Philippines. But hopefully other pageants would take out the marriage requirement so that I would be able to represent on a wider scale.
Kuya, may last question.
Last question. Kasi mukhang palaban na palaban talaga, lalo na with the support of surname. So how does your calendar look like? You know, it's still early before the competition next year. How does your calendar look like?
Well, my stay here in the Philippines right now is very action-packed, I would say. I just came from Naga yesterday, and I just arrived this morning because I judged the preliminaries of Miss Bicolandia. And I am having a few more events coming up, and that's very hectic. I barely have enough sleep, and I know you all can relate. But when I go back to the States, I will be focusing more on training more, but I do want to do more events as well. But since it is abroad, it's only a limited amount of events.
So, Zoe, to close our Q&A with media, your message to all the Filipino abroad and here in the Philippines, especially in Naga.
So to all the Filipinos abroad, please do not doubt if you are Filipino enough. Because as long as you have the drive, you have the vigor to represent Philippines, no matter how big or small that representation is, you are Filipino, and don't ever doubt that. To my people in Naga City, sana suportahan nindo ako sa journey ko sa Miss Universe Philippines. Patangatong kong maray ang Naga City, and continue ko siyang i-representar sa national na stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Palat na lang. Yung dalawang to, mag-message naman ko kay
Oo nga.
Sayang naman, nandito kayo.
Your message to Zoe.
Parang content kayo. The heart.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I just want to say I'm so proud of my sister, and I know that you will do great, and I will always be here, and I will be here in person to support you while you're on stage, and I can't wait to watch you succeed.
Aww. You're crying.
I know. That's why I didn't want to.
I know that you work so hard, so I'm confident that you do well. So I'm gonna be here to support you in person. I mean, I'm gonna be competing at the same time as you, so I know you'll do good.
Thank you, Anton.
And then let's cheer for her now. Let's go, Zoe.